Hello, and welcome to another episode of Healing from the Mess with me, Lizzie. On today's episode, I will be diving into my journal entries from yesterday, one before therapy and one after. So let's talk about it. So this journal entry was written at 9 a.m. yesterday. I haven't slept well the last 2 nights. I don't fall asleep until midnight. 5 hours just isn't enough rest. I keep having flashes of memories from my childhood. Some good, some bad. I wish I could hold on to them for longer than a minute, but they are fleeting. I know that I cannot expect myself to accept what is overnight. And I had a revelation. Mother started treating me differently after I got my first period at age 11. That is when everything changed. That's when the mom I knew died almost 27 years ago. And yet, I am still grieving. This one's from after therapy at 3 p.m. I am angry. I loved her unconditionally. She isn't capable of loving me at all. Everything changed the day I started my first period, and nothing had been the same since. If I had seen it sooner, I could have saved myself and my children so much pain. I guess some things aren't meant to be. My heart breaks for that scared, awkward little girl. I hug her in my mind and tell her that she is loved and that she is safe now. We made it. We are a survivor. We are full of love. I didn't mean to cry reading that, but I probably was crying when I wrote it, so I guess it made it, more real, not just something I'm reading off a page. So that revelation when everything changed, when my relationship with my mother changed drastically, it happened after I started my first period. I was 11 years old. We had just bought brand new clothes for me for the school year, and nothing fit because I bloat. I've always bloated. Nothing fits. I have to wear stretchy, comfortable clothes for the first 2 days. Everything changed after that. That was when my dad had brought up to her that he wanted to put me on birth control. And I think it was because, I had heavy periods and it would probably help with that. My mom was really against it. I remember her telling me accusatorily, like she didn't ask me, she was very accusatory, and said, "Is your dad giving you pills? If he gives you any pills, you tell me right away." He never gave me any pills for that. I mean, he gave me Tylenol for the pain, but that was it. That was when she was convinced he put a tracking device in her watch. That's right before she took us from my dad and tried to leave the country with us. Like, it makes sense. And our relationship has never been the same since then. It hasn't. It has been tumultuous. She was even more controlling then than she was before. It was awful and it was scary. And being a kid, when that's all you know, I'm sitting there in my therapist's office yesterday telling her stories about my life, telling her about my life. And she's like, "You're a survivor." And my brain just goes, to me, it was just my life. To me, it was just something I experienced. To me, I never got to sit in a moment long enough to understand how it affected me or how I felt about it. Ever. So when I was going through it, I knew I was in a lot of pain. But I didn't know what to do with that pain. And from the time I started my period until I was 14, the traumatic events happened. All of these big things happened. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, every time I get to a point I could probably process what happened, something else would happen, and it would be take all my attention. And I was a child. I was a preteen, and then I was a teenager. I had divorced parents. My mom was dating a really good guy. My dad was dating her. We won't talk about her because it's a sore subject in my family, and I really don't need to give her attention. It was not a good relationship, we'll put it that way. But I see it now. When I look at it, when I start writing down things, when I start remembering, I can see it. And I feel bad for the little girl. I wish I could take it all away. I wish I could go back. But I think the most important thing is that for now, right now in this moment, is I take care of her. And I keep reminding her that she's safe. We're safe now. She can't hurt us anymore. She's not in control of us anymore. I cut my hair because she hated my hair short. I dye it purple because I wasn't allowed to dye it black, and I love purple, so I don't want to dye it black. Because I never knew you could actually dye brown hair purple. It always seemed impossible. So I do it. I don't care how it looks. I just know it's purple in it. I'm getting my ears pierced. I never got my ears pierced. My mom told me I wasn't allowed to because I couldn't even take care of my glasses. How could I possibly take care of my ears? And then she got her ears pierced when she was in her mid to late 40s, and it was like, mid to late 50s, one of them. And now I'm getting my ears pierced for the first time next Thursday. And I'm going to stretch them 2 maybe 4 millimeters. Not big, like I don't, not that much, but I do want to stretch them a little bit. I've always wanted to. I am becoming more of myself every day, and I am so proud of the person I've become. And when my therapist said, "You survived so much. You have a story to tell," I never realized that. See, for me, everyone else had a harder life. They all experienced things that I don't know if I would have been able to make it out of. And what's funny is I have told people who think that they don't have a story to tell, that they haven't been through anything, or get told that by family members or friends or strangers. I tell them, you can't compare your story to their story, and they can't compare your story to their story. Because if they had to walk in your shoes, if they had to live in your brain while you went through that, they'd understand. And apparently now I gotta tell myself the same thing. So I guess the podcast for a while will be about therapy, but it's also going to include some things. Not just about my childhood, but also early adulthood. I mean, I did say we're going to talk about that in this podcast. So I'm being true to my word, like I said in the trailer. But I think it's time we explore. And I talk a little bit about my life and what I've been through. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate every single one of you who listen, who take time out of your day. It means so much to me. I do this for myself, but if I can reach one person to let them know that you're not alone, that we all have shit, excuse my language, we all have stuff we're working through, then it's worth it to me. So I hope you will join me next week for another episode of Healing from the Mess with me, Lizzie.